Wow, you caught me. I tried to sneak a sandwich in before jumping on the show today, and yeah, that's what I get for it. The Yeah, part of me like I did another. I was on a webinar this morning for Sorrent, and yeah, so I was on this morning, and I was like, "Am I going to do this?" But then I thought, you know what? I think that the with this one, like I really just want to do it every week, do the same time, but actually start getting like make it legit, like get real people on here. I invited Magnus. We'll see. I mean, because I think if it's like every day, every week, the same time, and I start to get some really good, get a few interesting people who are like committed, they see the value, then it's going to start to bump up. Mike H.
I just knighted myself. My name is Sir Michael H. Now.
Yeah, I have somebody else I think who's going to join too, so this could get pretty interesting, man.
Well, if you want to call me my lord, that's fine with me. And if you're Scottish, which I believe you are part Scottish, it would be appropriate to say I.
Yeah, I think it's Northern Irish, sort of not Northern English for me. I did there's this sort of like area of Northern England and Southern Scotland where it was like, there was quite a few people around that region. And all right, we have Magnus today. This is gonna turn into an interesting conversation. Hey Magnus, Mike, Sir Michael is on as well. And
is that Fergus or Magnus? Yeah. Who am I talking to? Magnus sounds like a Scottish name. I was bringing up Scotland.
Swedish.
Yeah, I'm from Sweden, yes. But I speak English.
We were making fun of.
I should just change my internet here because it's lagging.
Okay. Yeah, your video's coming through a little bit on the. It's pretty blurry.
Yeah, soon.
I did not shave over, and I apologize. I didn't prep up for this very well.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But Magnus did though.
He had to put a shirt on. It's like 8 o'clock. It's like, what is it, 8 o'clock at night for you?
Yeah. No, it's 10 o'clock.
Oh wow, so like legit, you're like working way into the evening.
Oh
wow, he froze up, but I think he's in the middle of changing his internet. So we'll.
He's definitely in a what we would call a late night owl in the coding world of a coder.
Yeah,
my best coding was late at night or early in the morning back in the day.
We'll he'll be back, I'm sure. I didn't do a whole lot of prep today, but we'll have to think about what we want to. Well, what is? Let's just start with a quick update. Like, what have you been? You and I haven't.
Look at my background. I'm exposing my background in my library. I'm a learned fan. Every one of those books back there, I've read. Every one of them.
Oh wow! No, really?
Yeah. That's my library in my office.
That's probably more books than I've read in my entire life.
Comic books, Mad Magazine counts, and Cracked as well.
You know what? I went through this Hardy Boys phase where I read like everything in the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. If you're gonna read that, you got to make your sister happy to read Nancy Drew as well.
I didn't do Nancy Drew.
Well, I'll go back in more time. I'll go back to Tom Swift, the science fiction series. I read some of those as well as a kid, grade school kid.
I removed Magnus and I kept a placeholder for him. So
Magnus is gone. Is he from Sweden? Is he actually piping in from Sweden as an international event? That's amazing.
Yeah. No, he's in. He and I connected. Here we go. Now he's back.
We have an international global event going on. I'm from Texas, USA. He's from some state I'd never heard of called Washington. And you're from Sweden, the great Sweden.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so many years ago when I lived in Switzerland, and I was 16, and the family I was staying with, the Swiss are very, very particular about like things. Anyway, if they were at the table and they would be talking about things and they didn't want me to understand it, they would speak in Swiss German, which it did, I'm learning German in school there. I'm like hanging around Zurich, and you're like, look, I understand everything you're saying. And so then they decided that because they had, as a family, they would spend a lot of time in Sweden, that they would speak in Swedish. And I was like, look, if you speak English and German, you pretty much understand Swedish. Like, it's not, I mean, I can't speak it, but like 90% of what they were saying, I could understand. So anyway, that's my Swedish story. So, but anyway, yeah, Magnus and I, we connected the other day. Magnus is also like a growth strategist, marketing guy. And I've seen his stuff for a bit, was impressed with the kind of psychological approach, which I think is really important, like really getting down into brand and messaging and, as a key factor. And then Magnus, just to get you up to speed. So Sir Michael and we've been doing this for a bit, whenever we can, and taking different perspectives on this kind of topic of AI SDR or AI BDR SDR. Mike is more on the research, like how is this going to work, planning. I'm more like I'm just building these things and seeing what works. And so, but yeah, Mike, you and we missed last week. So what have you been up to?
I haven't watched the rerun either. I haven't watched the rerun. I've been busy with a lot of different avenues. I didn't even have time to watch the rerun. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. But what have you been up to? I mean, what are you working? Where are you at in your?
I'm working on a partnership with a collaborative data simulation lab vendor. Oh, you went away. There he is. I've been working lately on a go-to-market strategy with a simulation lab that's taking some of my activities with the BDR Sarah, whether she's human or AI doesn't really matter. What kind of approach is best for branding, messaging, tone, and sentiment, and also the next steps for call to action as well. So there's a lot of different human behavior play, even with an email. Even when people get an email as an executive target persona of an ideal customer profile, there's a lot of psychology around this and how that dynamically drives emotion from the words that get communicated either in writing or on voice or even a voicemail or text or within an event like this, like a little mini video event. So there's a lab I'm working with the last maybe 3 weeks. We're going to come out next week with a new post and start a series of simulation, what we would call postmortem approaches and how to evaluate what works and what doesn't work with communications to drive.
So the idea is you sit when you okay, this is fascinating, but I feel like I missed like some.
Yeah, I've been keeping this from you.
I'm like I get a lot of this. Okay, so there's I mean I get the whole psychology. So what's the simulation part about?
The simulation is basically taking 36 different personas that are key decision makers, from CXOs to VPs to different lines of businesses, from IT to operations to engineering to legal to admin to procurement. All the organizations that have leadership that make decisions to buy capital goods.
So you have like AI personas, and then you test.
A simulation lab is a Monte Carlo draw simulation, leveraging statistical modeling for if you put a lot of stuff into the soup, what comes out of it? Is it magic or is it crap? So that's what simulation is all about.
Okay. I think I'm getting this. So you have this like simulation where you have 36 AI personas. You send your message to them. You kind of get some.
And you plug them into an IC. Not only that, but you make up a company name, a fictional name, or a real name, and you plug them in to become employees of that organization to influence different.
This is so like insane, but cool. Okay. So from that, you guys, from all that, you came up with the language that you're going to use in a LinkedIn post.
No, we're still experimenting with it, but I went with two approaches. One with a real hard knocking approach. I want to show up and throw up at a demo. And if I can set an appointment when you're available. And the other approach is I'm not wanting to take a meeting yet. I want to provide you information, a gift of information and knowledge, and see which one works and why it doesn't work with different personas.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm giving
yeah.
you a real
Okay.
rough sketch of it. There's a lot more nuances around that.
You need a lot of data to be able to actually figure out. I mean, okay, anyway, but Magnus, you're like, this is the same
Each of
stuff
these
you're
AI
doing.
agents are like intelligent human
Yeah.
beings that have biases and perspectives on how they take in information.
Yeah, yeah,
and how
yeah.
they
No,
make
I want to hear what Magnus thinks about this. This is his like right up his alley.
It might be.
Yeah. Yeah, because what you need to put in perspective as well is the personality of those
Absolutely.
persons.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have the sheep one, you have the logic one, there is the bragger, and a lot of other personalities that you have to consider as well.
Correct. Correct.
So that is for each of them.
So you're like on board with this idea. You're like, I think you could create AI personalities that match like a whole spectrum, right? You could say, hey, here's these like 20, or you said, Mike, 36 psychological
36
profiles, right?
Psychological profiles.
Yeah.
At different levels of management.
I think my internet got slow.
I'm still here. I hear me, but I don't hear Magnus.
Yeah, but you what I understand is that you would like to you try to simulate different kinds of buyers, right? And how to approach them.
It's already done. The lab is already put together as a laboratory. I'm putting in input into the lab to test out the dynamics of the output of the lab as well from a simulation point of view. I'm working with a simulation engineer that's in Europe right now in the last 3 weeks to kind of center this around, and we're going to go to market with some approaches to approach different companies, from software companies as well as consulting firms, to maybe test this out in our go-to-market strategy as well, and sell it as a package. So it's not something that make money with. U.S. dollars or your money. What's your money called? U.S. dollars?
In Sweden,
isn't it like EU?
We still
gold.
the Swedish krona, our original.
Oh, it's the krona. You still have the krona, huh?
Yeah,
krona, no kidding.
Swedish
It's like my
krona.
name. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have not changed to euro yet, but there is risk that we will.
We want to make a lot of krona for you then. Either me a lot of U.S. dollars, or for Govind, whatever he wants, gold, silver, or whatever. And then you, krona.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the focus. No, it's a way to take a lot of the old-fashioned approach was market research 30 years ago, where they would take data and plug it into a mainframe computer and try to do something with evaluations with that, with all in the last. I mean, this is old school stuff, but it's new school with AI. And AI is a lot faster. What would take weeks before and months now it can take less than 1 hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's really the breakthrough with AI, right? I did this like interesting operations course at one point, and it was using in the Excel a tool called the Solver, and you could sort of like create these like pretty like complicated operational models that would run through this solver, and it would have different parameters and constraints, but it took forever, right? And that kind of got me introduced to this idea of like, the kind of robotic programming type ideas, right? Because that's what you're going for in these things, right? You want to take a bunch of different inputs and solve the problem. And it turns out that, LLMs or the AI is really effective when you have all these different parameters, but it can kind of like fudge it a little bit, right? Because if you can fudge it a little bit.
Vin Diesel, you know who Vin Diesel is? He looks a little bit like you, but he's darker complected. He's bald. He plays in those, those.
Yeah.
Speed is good. Being slow is bad. Today's world is you're like Vin Diesel. You need to think and operate like a race car driver.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm giving you metaphors. I bob and weave in metaphors. He bobs and weaves between vibe programming to software engineering back to system analysis. I'm going into movie metaphors. I don't know what you could do, Magnus, on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who Vin Diesel is, right? You don't know who Vin Diesel?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Magnus, what do you I mean, okay, so you can go and you can create these AI personalities, right? I mean, are you using this approach yourself as well? I mean, are you testing your content?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a
I'm
laboratory?
testing it out, and
Do you have a
I
simulation laboratory,
yeah.
Magnus? Good. Good.
Sorry.
No, do you have a simulation laboratory for yourself for market development?
Yeah, I have tested out different kinds of models and applications and environments, and I what I tested out mostly is scheduling solutions.
Oh,
But
okay.
the problem I find there, which is relatively simple to solve, is that if you find a person that is accepting to schedule a meeting with the help of an AI agency, is that to spell the email address. So I tested out a couple of models, and usually I have to try to book 10 or 20 times before this AI get my email address correct.
Yeah.
So what I find out is that if you if you start an AI scheduling or session with importing phone data and contact data for a database from like Apollo or something like that, you need to learn teach the AI the email address. So the AI already have the email address and the phone number that we are calling. So it's more so it's more that when the person accepts the meeting, the AI should ask the person correct. So then it's just to accessing that email address is correct. And if for some reason that the email address is not correct, what I think would be the most best way, because it usually should call a cell phone number, and then just sending a text of asking them just to spell the email address back correct and fetch that.
Yeah, you're hitting on a point that we talked about actually early on in this. When I did some AI outbound and then it would try to get people's email, it was a disaster. It's just terrible. Yeah. And so since you already have the phone number, you can say, hey, I'm gonna send you a text right now. Yeah, I set up some examples of that.
Slow down, Vin Diesel. In the United States, we're not allowed to send outbound. AI agents can't do outbound calls and robocalls without permission. You can do a permission based on an email or a form filled out from a prospect in the United States. So it's a regulatory issue right now where we can't do outbound unless we have an email pledge that says I will accept a call from a robot caller if you're a prospect.
Are you sure about that? Because
yes.
Usually this regulation mix up private or business, because business to business I usually don't see, because if it is a business, even if it is a private phone,
maybe a nuance. For B2C, it's definitely there, but for B2B, I'm not really positive about the constraints on B2B calling. If you call it consumers, that may be where the consumer is protected, but B2B, there may be a nuance in that. I'll have to look into that as next item.
Yeah, because I don't think so. Because I looked into the rules here in
each state of the United States has their own focus on this. This is very USA driven. On the world stage, it's a different story. Now we go out to the world and call to Europe, might be a whole different dynamic. But I'm talking about the commerce that occurs within the United States from an American company calling another American company within the United States.
Because if you write a statement from the organization's website to explain how you see on the privacy for the customers that you are calling, and as I see it, for the Europe regulation that I see is even if working as a sales or some other executive roles using their own private phone in the business that they are employee or so, then they allowed business calls on the private phone. So if you're calling in with the purpose of a business call, you should be allowed to call them on their phone.
That may be true.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain of it.
Yeah, here's a kind of weird nuance. See, we went through this actually on one of the topic. We went into this and we kind of came to the conclusion that we really shouldn't cold call with AI. I believe that you can call a business number though, and but I would definitely say when you get into personal numbers, you run some significant risks. It says you can't do it, and also you can't do it to like wireless numbers are a big problem. So it is a big topic. I almost feel like I should circle back and do a session on it because I think you can do it to a business number. So you go to Apollo, you get the business numbers in Apollo, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to call." You could run AI to those. I think you probably could. Now I think your hit rate's going to be really low.
And if you find the cell number in Apollo, it is linked to the working title or the profession from that person that you want to call. So I mean, if they're using the private cell phone for business calls, it is both private and business. But if your business call is purpose of business, they cannot claim that you're calling on the private phone.
Right.
Yeah. So that might, I mean, if you are very clear about how you think about this and how you target your customers in the privacy policy that you write on your own business website or something like that, I think it should be no problem.
Let me show you something. Can I have a controls of the presentation, Larry? Go for it.
Yeah. How do I do that? Present something, and then I'll see if I can get it.
Okay.
You're going to you should be able to share your screen, right?
Okay, I'm looking for the screen share right now.
I think it's in the bottom.
I see
like a plus.
I'm looking for it. Just a second. Let's share the entire screen for now. Can you folks see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Show you something
if you stop scrolling, maybe it's easier.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it down a little bit so we can see it together.
Now I can't.
Now you did make it smaller.
How about there?
Yeah,
Can you see that?
Like the operational
extra,
compliance.
please.
How about that? Can you see that now? I just kind of, I'm doing a little, you said something. So all I did was go to my AI Gemini from Google Pro and ask about the key question.
Yeah.
What is the law about AI agents cold calling companies on a cold call? And it said, navigating the legal landscape of AI-driven sales outreach requires balancing federal compliance with a rapidly shifting patchwork of at the state level transparency acts. As of early 2026, the regulatory environment has moved from wait and see to active enforcement, particularly regarding the use of synthesized voices in cold outreach. So the federal compliance that I was referring to on our AI agent calling without permission from the prospect, it's breaking the law, and you're going to be fined by these federal organizations, the United States organizations. And it's TCPA. You'll see there in the FCC is Federal Communications Act. It's very important to know about this as an AI operator, that if you can do whatever you want, but you got to be ready to pay the fines, because the federal government will come back to you to tax you on the fines of breaking regulations.
They might, yeah. I mean, look, if you're abusing it, for sure, right?
Well, I mean, even if you're $1 billion company, who wants to pay $500,000 in fines? So there's restrictions.
I still think this is for calling private phone numbers.
I don't believe so, because I asked the question. What's the law about AI agents from a company calling their ICP? I'll restate it, but I don't believe it is. I believe it's at the business-to-business level.
Well, it's not saying that you can't do it.
But this is just an
law. If you want to murder somebody, you can break the law. You just go to jail or prison the rest of
but
your
what is the actual policy or guideline?
Don't do it unless you have permission. We had talked about this a month ago.
This is just the AI answer, and you didn't precise the question.
I'm going to do it right now. How about B2B?
Well, it is specific that the TCPA
AI.
restricts telemarketing calls and the use of automated telephone equipment to wireless phones without prior express consent. So it's the wireless phones that I would be the most concerned about. But I think, Magnus, to your point, is that, you know, like if Apollo has the number, I don't know. I mean, I would like to try it, but I want to make sure, you know.
If you do, you might have to spend $1 million in fines and go out of business. Is what I'm saying.
But I tried this from the European GDPR solution.
And in the context of this, Magnus, is United States of America.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, but you need to look at the exact laws and regulate. You cannot use AI to look at this, because in this discussions and people who don't know what we are talking about, that
I agree. Like asking AI to answer this is like you're
call my lawyer. I got a lawyer I can contact and get them.
Yeah. I have contacted a lawyer of GDPR, and they were certain of you were not allowed to call laws themselves. In this matter, you need to read the law and the regulations for this, because AI cannot work.
I think the lawyers right.
I'm just telling you though that this is a real activity going on in the USA. These are the laws that have penalties per call, $500 to $1,000 per call. If you make
no, exactly. But it's the question is like, what would actually? How do you know exactly whether you're going to violate or not?
Well, violation is you can always do it at the risk of being caught, just like paying your taxes correctly in many ways.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at Instantly.
But where do you have a source for these answers?
This is Almighty Google, Gemini 3. This is not Chat.
Yeah, but the sources. Don't you have any source for this information?
Let me go there. A second. Sources. Yeah, I will. I'll go here. They offer the sources at the bottom. Hang on here. Show thinking is what they do. And generally it's no, because I was all excited about this personally about 2 months ago to have AI agents doing cold calling, and I found out that there's now new restrictions put in place since last year, roughly in the fall, just 4 or 5 months ago. This is brand new information that the U.S. government.
I like to go to these like outbound providers, right, who provide these different services. Like Instantly is a good one, right? They're like a company that sits, they're, like if you're using Instantly, you're pushing the boundaries a little bit, right, with email in particular. So auto dialers, no use of even auto dialers, and AI is, considered auto dialer. So you can't use it on wireless numbers without prior written consent. So your comment, Magnus, about using the Apollo wireless numbers, even though they're business, I mean, that would clearly identify your business, provide a call, 8 a.m. and then honor. That's pretty much it. And I think this is that's where I was saying, like, I feel pretty comfortable if it's just a listed business number, you're in good shape. But I would be concerned about the wireless, like on Apollo. And by the way, I did some outbound with Apollo on their parallel dialer, a while back, and it was insane. I mean, in 20 minutes, I talked to like 8 people. I'm like, wow, this is insane. But it costs quite a bit to get the wireless numbers. So but the thing is, you're like, hey, if you get, people don't answer their business phones anymore. So, that's another issue. Is like you could spend a month trying to dial 10,000 people and maybe get a hold of 2, So that's a whole, and that's for, there's so many funnels that don't involve, having to call people, right? But you have to get people's attention somehow or another. It's email, it's LinkedIn, it's advertising. Because that's the thing. You're going to test your content against these 36 personalities. We take it all the way back to the 36 personalities, right? You're going to test your content there. And then what are you going to do with that content? You're going to send a cold email message based on the content feedback you got? Or like, what's your action?
Well, I'm trying to understand if I'm trying to say to Magnus that
I just take a
this
look
information is
at
new.
because those rules that you are looking to here, it is CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. It is the
Yeah.
California Privacy Rights Act. It is and other important U.S. privacy laws. It is not concerned business. It is the same probably as in the GDPR that we have in Europe. It doesn't concern business calls.
No, it does. I disagree with you. I vehemently disagree. These are business numbers. These are business calls. AI agents that make business calls to other companies without written
You
permission.
not listen to what I'm saying. The laws concern privacy.
That may be true
Privacy.
on that for business and consumer, but there's also a crackdown on B2B, is what I'm stating based on regulations in the United States.
I'm not sure. I could take a more look.
We'll take it off as an action item and come up.
I would, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, look, this is an important, I mean, it's
Another
always an important ongoing conversation. And I actually, this is what, when Mike, when you and I got into it, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you can call businesses. And then I sort of got off into this, like, oh no, but I mean, look, I'm going to research it more too. But I, like I said, I think Instantly is a pretty good source for this kind of thing. And then some of these other like sites that are doing, you know, that specialize in outbound and door opening. But I mean, that's, but again, I think I just want to try to get back to this 36, you know.
Yeah, let's get back to this. There's a lot of things happening on the regulatory issues in the United States, per state, but also at the federal level for B2B play.
All right, Magnus, you had one more thing to add?
Yeah, but yeah, it is just, you just have to look at the name of the laws. They're talking about privacy.
Yeah.
If you're calling people on a business hours, there is no privacy. They are at work. And that's the simple fact. This regulation is to save the privacy for people. But if they are at work,
no, yeah, it's a business
and
phone.
They're using their phone even work to take in normal calls from other customers or other partners and so on. Then it's not privacy. It's working hour.
Right. No, I get it. They're at work. Yeah, yeah.
Beings doing this, but the technology doing this with robots, effectively the robots. It's not
Let's keep going. We're going to do a
but when it comes to sales psychology, and that is that you need to be honest about it.
I'll come back with you both of you within a week about this, because this is an important topic of mine.
No, it is completely. Yeah.
About a month and a half ago.
Yeah, because I have had a lot of discussions with others on these topics as well, and especially about the GDPR. Then, and the problem is that many of those that test out in real life, testing AI call agents, is that they don't understand the sales psychology that you need to use, because you need to make the agent polite and nice and asking for permission and also presenting them. So it needs to present them as Govin's personal assistants. Is it okay to talk with me at the moment, or is it better for another time of the day? I can call you back if you're busy at the moment. And if you just showing nice and polite, exactly as a human says, when I make a cold call, I'm making sure that I don't disturb a person. You need to be nice to them and showing them respect. And this you could also teach the AI to be as well. And the person, if they also have a possibility to say here, I would like to speak to a human sales representative or something like that, the system should automatically switch the conversation to a personal agent.
Yeah, no, that for sure it needs to.
Yeah. And once the people learn to understand that the AI agents can know tons of more information than what a human agent can do, they will prefer to talk to an AI agent. because the AI agent can have the full database,
No, yeah, they're gonna.
they
If
have a
for like,
documentation of a
yeah,
CRM system in their
Yeah.
mind. They have a full internet access that they can find information about.
yeah. No, I think
Information
that
level and knowledge that a human agent never can learn.
now there's going to be a pivot where even though people, there's going to be a certain subset of people. Oh, I don't want to talk to an AI, and then they're going to. It's just going to become a reality because you're right. Especially when it comes to customer service or advanced product knowledge or detailed answers, that human beings just aren't going to be able to have that. They don't retain. We don't retain exact, precise knowledge super well, and we're not necessarily all that fast at going and finding it if we have to. And so there's going to be some huge advantages. But let's circle back because I still want to get back to this thing of like, okay,
And this may be only based. This is heavily based in my state of Texas. That's taken some federal acts going on, not federal but state level acts. There may be more looseness around the country with different states. Magnus, I'm just speaking from the point of view of Texas. There's definitely issues in Texas where I live.
Yeah. Well, we're going to circle back.
But have you tried to talk to?
I don't want to go to jail. I'm not going to pay them fine, so I'm not going to do it. The only way you can do it is get written consent from the ICP persona by sending first an email with a low friction. Then they check off a box. I will take a call as a follow-up from an agent that's artificial intelligence. Then you get prior consent. It's called consent requirement under the Act of TCP, which stands for Texas.
So let's go back. So because your idea then is, hey, you're gonna test some content against these 36 personalities based on what it recommends. You're gonna go back and then you're gonna send emails to people, right? I mean, that's your next step is to email.
It is email first. Second is permission-based calling with an AI agent based on what they say in the script. And after that, texting as well. But starting out with email, because based on the consent requirement out of the state of Texas where I live, it's heavily focused on TCPA for business to business.
So you got some content from these 36 agents that told you what you should say in your email?
Not yet. There's going to be several runs in the simulation. It's not a one-shot deal. You go through different exercises. I came up with an exercise for a fintech company that was a certain level of annual revenue as ARR and also size of company with employee headcount, and then using that as a criteria of how much their budget may be for fintech purchasing with AI. And then I would also focused on the different personalities that tend to make buying decisions with the capital goods of about $250,000 of US dollars for $250,000 per year for 3-year contracts. And that gets plugged into the simulation lab to drive their nuances of how they make decisions.
Right. You're specifying what you know about the product, the ICP,
correct,
and you're going to come up with language to engage people.
It's input driven for output sentiments, so to speak, for buying sentiments.
Right. So then you'll go do something like you'll set up Apollo and run an email sequence that has that messaging.
That message for that type of company with that type of size and that type of industry sector as well. You can drill down to the nuances of the industry sector too. Right. That's where the simulation becomes powerful. You test the simulation against not just the personality of any company, but you focus on the industry sector. You focus on the size of their company based on headcount in annual revenue. Then you focus on where their headquarters may be residing, whether it's U.S.
No, I get it, right? Like you're going to go and you're going to say, like, I mean, this is when I was talking. I was talking with the guys. I sent a bunch of stuff in Apollo for Sorrent. I finally got their tracking, Apollo all set up. Yeah, and I was like, I just finished some of this a week or so ago, and I'm like, okay, I sent 130 emails, like really good deliverability, lots, overall, I'm like, hey, domain reputation for them is great, which is what I figured it would be. I can tell that I'm hitting the inbox and getting lots of automated, out of offices, lots of good things. And I guess he turned his camera off. So anyway,
stop sharing unless you stop me. Maybe
I can. I think it stopped. It's not on the screen anymore. Good. I can remove it. So you know, I was talking with them this morning, and I'm like, you know, normally what you want to do, showed them. I was like, okay, these are VPs with a, you know, digital transformation keyword in companies with 200 to 500 employees. You know, no consulting, whatever. Right? There's 400 people. Right? Boom, I'm going to hit those. Let's come up with another 400 and another 400. So that way, you know, whether it's crossing industries, I mean, this is traditional, like, you know, you try all these different ways to slice and dice this, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can test against these 36 people, but unless you're actually sending thousands of messages, you're never going to really know whether whether that worked or not, right? You're like you get your AI simulation can tell you something, but it does. How do you know if that's actually going to happen when you start to get out into the real world, right? Like how many you're going to have to send 10,000 emails to find out, right?
Maybe not that many, but yeah, you have to have
4,000, yeah.
1,000 or more, yeah.
So no, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, because that's part of, like, even you and I were having here. I'm going to share. Oh wait, I'm sharing. Here we go. You know, I put together this a campaign, right? That's why, you know, I'm always like, hey, you know, it's like theory is great, but at the end of the day, it's like, right. So I love ADIO just as a CRM. It's a little bit pricey, but I've just finally, like, I'm using, because, you know, I'll tell you the number one thing is that there's nothing really on the screen in ADIO except for your data. And that's what I like to look at. Right. And I'm like, okay, here's a board. So I'm helping the guys at Citation. It's a AI, you know, open source AI platform. And I'm like, you need to get out and start, you know, engaging people, right? Talking to your buddies and your people, you know, is fine. But, you know, what you really need to do is you need to start outbound, chop wood, carry water. You got to execute. You got to send a lot of messages. I'm like, if you're not going to do it, I'm just going to do it for you. So, you know, I actually have 800 people in this, but I've only loaded 100. So I have, you know, 800 people that I'm going to message who are at, you know, startup incubators. Cause I'm like, I have a hypothesis, startup incubators. You know, I'm running these guys. I think I only actually sent about 40 messages, 8 people connected on LinkedIn, because I'm running this on LinkedIn automation. So actually a total of 11 connected, 3 engaged, and then I need another, like, status to show whether they're warm or not, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to have real people that you really get real data, real engagement. And I'm like, hey, in 1 week, I got 2 people, Tanuj and Alexander, who responded in fairly positive ways. Like, Tanuj wants a demo, and the other guy was like, you know, we're biotech, but, you know, it opened the door for Chris to have a conversation, right? So I guess that's my question is, like, it's great that you're running this simulation, but how does that translate into what people really want, which is going to be sales conversations?
It's going to translate into content, what gets delivered as a go-to-market strategy and content approach. That's what it drives your conversion rates up higher, based on, rather than focusing on the volume, focus on the quality of the touch.
Gotcha. So you are, at some point, you're going to start sending some messages to people, though, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. But, like, in a month, and how long does this take?
Oh, maybe hopefully within a month or less. I'm going to do some test trials next month at the minimum, and then I'll have more larger quantity of trial. But I'm trying to get a focus toward the right prospect with the right brand, with the right message and the right style approach as well, so to drive the conversion rate up. Because at the end of the day, if you have AI agents throwing mud against the wall, all it is mud against the wall. But if you have a laser focus with not mud, but actually something that's going to be value to the prospect, that's what's important.
Yeah. That is.
I just want to see real data. I mean, I guess that's my piece would be like
LinkedIn. You'll be seeing some things with me in my European partner on LinkedIn within about 5 days. It's going to be a
okay. So you have real stuff you're producing, right? I know, Magnus. What do you think?
Yeah. Your strategy of messaging it's important. You can only if you deliver the value that is important for your audience. That is the only way to get them get their attention from them.
Do you think, I mean, do you think running it against, you know, like running an AI simulation? And by the way, just so you know, like, and this is the piece that's, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, because I used AI a little bit, but I didn't do a bunch of analysis for this, right? And honestly, to start something up and in a week get 2 warm engagements is pretty
It's
good, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
bad.
hey, yeah, all I sent was, I'm connecting with leaders at top incubators as part of my support of Cetacean Labs. We help AI startups cut inference costs and avoid vendor lock-in. I'd love to connect and share some open source AI resources that could benefit your next cohort. That's it, right? Like, that's all. That's the sum total of the messaging. There's nothing else. I didn't create, I mean, did I use an AI workspace and create a bunch of potential content for all this? Yes. But all that required to open the door at these places was that short piece of content, right? Again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn as much as I'm just saying, here's research that says, I mean, yes, like you don't have to have AI. You can do all these huge projects, but you can also just come up with something interesting and send a message, you know? So, you know, that's why you'll notice, Magnus, I'm always on the side of like, stop thinking and just send more messages, right? Just get it out the door, you know.
Yeah, but I support the idea of trying to learn your audience with this simulation. I think it's very valuable for Michael here to see this. But if when it comes down to the bottom, or to the end edge of it, it's always the same. The person needs to find something valuable, that you are interested in them, and that you speak a language that they understand. And also, it's very important to also try to understand what kind of personality are those audiences. I mean, if you are selling a car brand, if you're only selling horses and these hard facts about the car, instead from selling the feeling and what this horsepower can do, what experience will this car deliver to you, then you can target the audience, and this can they connect to. Because if you're having 300 horsepower in a Mercedes or in a Volvo or in a Seat and etc., the car will have a very different of behavior and also a different way to speak to the driver. So it is important just to sell the feeling, making the person feeling emotions. So and that is on all. Doesn't matter what you sell. You need to sell the feelings to connect them and showing that you are interested in them. If you're doing that, you can sell anything. It doesn't matter what you sell. And therefore is like this start messaging that you're doing, going here, outbound messaging, and that will mean that you only will target those that are ready for the moment to connect with that message. But if you start just to creating a relationship first, and let them know you and who you are, and that you're asking some questions for them so that they can connect to this, then you will get a double or triple or quadruple response of people that is connecting in sales meeting later. So you're wasting a lot of prospect by going so direct in the outbound. And so I prefer or recommend always to use an inbound model. Okay, and then it takes a longer time. It takes more messages before the person doing a response of connecting in a sales meeting, but they will feel more secure and they feel more aligned to you and what you want.
No, that's a good point. I mean, to be honest with you, typically when I do LinkedIn messaging, I don't sell in the first in this case. I was being very specific, right? Because I was like, hey, I want to go and to open the door at these incubators that are in, like, it was a very specific goal. But yeah, I generally would say, like, if, when I ran a lot of this for people and we tested lots of LinkedIn messages, the messaging that worked the best overall, right, for just, meetings was more generic at the start. It was like, it was casual, non-sales focused in the beginning, and then we didn't introduce any kind of sales topics until well into the conversation. So now that is a really valid point. I just, again, I'm using this as a data point just because I'm like, hey, wow, I sent, about 30, 40 messages and got, 2 or 3 good conversations. That's pretty good. Those are pretty good early stats, but you never know. I mean, will it work tomorrow? I don't know. Right. And maybe it's an early, or, so this is just one data point. Yeah.
Yeah, if you would made an inbound approach and deliver 4 or 5 very well crafted messages, you will probably get a really lot more than just 2 responses.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I just haven't sent very many messages. But no, I think this inbound idea is interesting. I mean, it's like, it feels to me like what you're sort of saying is, create visibility for yourself, and people will check you out, and then you have some other branding. You're going to look at your LinkedIn, and if they see something there that appeals to them and they decide to follow up or schedule, then you have a much higher level of intent, essentially.
Yeah, it's same if you're coming into a digital sales meeting or in a physical meeting one-on-one. You need to bond first, even there, and so you cannot just bring the portfolio or the product case here and just starting to show them. This is the product that we have here today, because you will lose them probably. and in the digital dimension like LinkedIn or something, or email, it's even more important that you're building a relationship and trust first, if you want to make the most of your prospects. Because if you're buying a 10,000 prospect from a database like Apollo, something like that, and only get 20 customers out of it, well, then you're wasting quite a lot of prospects that you could.
I don't know. I mean, if I could say, if you could convert, I mean, it is interesting, because I actually, the other case study that I had, which was interesting, was, and it is true. I think we actually, it was we did for Strike Deck, and in the end, I estimate we were able to build connections and generate leads, conversations, you could say, with about 10% of their total addressable market. So, I mean, in that case, you're right. If you said if you're that effective, if you have 10,000 people and you're really good, and you get 10% of them as your customers, you're doing that. A lot of people would say, hey, if I have 10,000 people to email and I can turn 20 into customers, that's pretty good, right? But imagine what it looks like if you can turn 1,000 into customers.
Yeah. So I just think put the sales technique and sales psychology in the messaging, and you will convert quite a lot more from the same prospects.
I need to learn that secret, man. I don't know, Mike. What do you think? Can you get 10% of a market sold like that? I mean, that requires not just killer content, but a killer product, right?
Well, a combination of both. I mean, it comes down to really not just. I mean, Oracle had shitty software, but they still became a $1 billion company. if you know.
Right.
Sybase was a better
so killer sales or killer marketing always conveys a lot of customer. The product doesn't have to be.
I'm an ex-Oracle guy in the 90s. I went to work for Oracle in the 90s. And I saw them literally crush their competitors in the database wars of Informix, Sybase, Ingres, and a bunch of others I can't recall anymore. They killed them. They dominated the market eventually, became the go-to Fortune 100 Oracle database, relational database to buy. So and it wasn't based because Sybase was a better product, and Informix and different nuances was also very good as well. But they crushed them on the marketing, the visionary selling of the marketing with Larry Ellison's dynamic personality, and also all the people he hired that were kind of the same types of salespeople and business people.
Yeah, they insane. I recorded my actually, Mike. I need to show you. I did my Oracle story. It was my first. I think it's that first Descript video I did. I don't know if you.
I have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna find
it for me and send it my way.
Hold on.
So
yeah,
a lot of engineers, because they build product, Govin's kind of like a nuanced engineer that loves building stuff, whether from from a structured point of view or something more heuristic. He likes building, so he thinks product it sells itself. You can fire all the salespeople, the marketing people, because it's a killer product. And the answer is, yeah, you could, but you may not become $1 billion company if you got a killer product. You got to have great marketing and great sales and execution of sales. And you can have an average product and become $1 billion company because you got great killer marketing, killer sales.
Look at Microsoft.
Exactly.
All right, hold on. I put my wait here. Look. Okay, there it is. Can you click on that link?
Let me look on the chat.
It's on the screen now. Do you see it on the screen?
Yeah. No, I can't click. There's no clicking.
No. You can send it in the LinkedIn later.
Oh, can I toggle it? Put it on the left side. I found the chat. It's not on the right like it is on some of.
No, there's a chat on the right, which is like the show chat.
Pop it there, and
there's a private chat here. I'll just send it to you. Then the private chat on here.
I'll click on it. I was trying to play with the chat on the right side, like I was in Zoom.
How do I? Oh, the private chat is internal, and then there's a chat on the right that is actually the
it's
show
for the audience. Whoever shows up to watch this.
Yeah, it's like the show chat. So
I'm looking. Well, this is
but that was the one you sent to me the other day. I think the same.
I think I did send it to you, Magnus. Already. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen this before. I have to toggle this.
It was my first. It was my first production on Descript. But no, this is great, guys. This is killer. I'm gonna find some really good nuggets out of this and turn them into to some LinkedIn posts, and we'll and then I'm gonna try to do this show every Thursday and get more people on, and we can do I'll do a hype post about it, try to hype it up and see if we get. I don't expect a lot of people to come in and actually watch the show, but it is a really good conversation, and there's some really killer content pieces out of this.
I think what the show gives you is the ammunition to build a newsletter or an article a lot faster. So it is great to get a show on content, then move it through your content.
Yeah. No, I have a whole AI process where I take this and take the script and turn it into an article, and it produces images. And now I need to work on how to automate the little video snippet production. So no, I super appreciate you guys jumping on. Let's see, do we have any kind of like wrap up stuff here, like a wrap up scene? Now we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up here, but just give a quick spiel on your thing. I'm Govind. I like to build stuff.
There's your wrap up. Harmonica. My name is Honer, M. Honer, Sir Michael Honer. I was knighted because of the harmonica. And if I were really a great Scotsman like Govind Davis, I would play the bagpipes, but I play the harmonica because my name's on the harmonica.
There we go.
Yeah.
And your instrument of choice in Sweden for harmonica.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. Before, when it's still on my mind, Govind, can you make a LinkedIn group?
Yeah. You want for the TheraFactor.
So interesting to learn more about your program, if your analysis as well, or if you have any questions about it or something like that. Because I think it is interesting.
Just you mean like a group chat on LinkedIn with Mike, right?
No, that's not a bad idea because I am the father of Sarah. I'm the one that named her. She birthed out of my ideas.
I'll do that. I'll do that right when we jump
I
off.
love to be part of that group.
Yeah, so we can. Connect.
Godfather. You can be the Godfather.
Okay.
And I'm not sure you maybe
Yeah.
will be.
No, I like the idea of actually creating a LinkedIn group called the Sarah Factor. We can invite people who are like more people. But I'll link you guys into just a group.
Yep.
All right,
Perfect.
good stuff, guys. Awesome, appreciate it. Have a good evening, Magnus.